Okay, we talked earlier about the purchase money mortgage, and I told you it works just like a lien. It's just like a bank. There's another method called a land contract. Remember, and we use the terms vendor and vendee. And I told you they transfer over time, and the person gets equitable interest or equitable title. This is different than the purchase money mortgage. Please understand that. There is a subtle difference between these, and you may have to understand. In the purchase money mortgage, I actually am transferring the property through a sale with a grantor and a grantee, and I am taking back a lien position. And what's a lien? It's a future interest in ownership. It's not actual ownership. In a land contract, we are not transferring through the grantor and grantee process. We are transferring through vendor vendee, which is over time. The vendor is me. I still keep actual title to this. It's not a lien. I still own it. I'm selling it over time to the buyer. All right, do you guys understand? There is a difference between those. One is I actually have sold the property as a grantor, invested myself of all ownership, and have taken a lien position. This one I have not as a land contract. I still own actual title, or legal title it's called. I am transferring equitable title to the buyer. Yes, this is one, well, they're both would be to maintain insurance because you want to make sure the property's still there. And yeah, that's a good point. On the purchase money, you just like the mortgage, you could still go on the also insured. All right? You would do that here too.
This is virtually like the rent-to-own, which really isn't rent-to-own.
Don't make me come over this table after you. All right? Because the next lower version on this is what those people call a rent-to-own, which is really a lease with an option. All right? So we actually have three levels. You've got your at this land contract, then you've got a lease to own. All right? You can never transfer ownership with a lease. That's a land contract. All right? I don't care what you call it. There have been court precedents that says if you transfer any ownership based on a monthly payment, that's a land contract. What a lease to own is a tenant with a lease for 6 months or 12 months that can be evicted with a small claims court. At the end of that lease, or anytime therein, depending on how you write it, he has the option to buy the property. But that option is literally just a sale. Hey, I've got some bad credit I need to get straightened out. As soon as I pay off my that hospital bill, I'll have my debt-to-income ratio really good. I can get a loan. Okay, for 9 months, we're going to lease it to you, and you're going to be a tenant. If you screw up in the middle of that lease, I'm going to evict you. But if not, at that 9th month, you go out and get a loan, buy the house, we close, transfer property instantly. That's just a true voluntary alienation, a sale. So it's a lease with an option to buy. No ownership transfers during the lease period or the month-to-month payment. It only transfers when he exercises his option, but that option is just a regular sale. A land contract, ownership transfers every month. A portion of that transfers every month. The vendor keeps legal title. The other version is the purchase money mortgage, where it's a sale and I've completely divested myself of ownership, but I've taken a lien back just like a real bank would.
On the land contract, then, the person that has the title is actually the vendor.
Right.
If they were to sell the property, then the vendee would have
They cannot sell the property. They cannot sell the property.
So all it does is protect them from losing the property should the people not pay.
What do you mean protection?
Well, in other words, the title's still in their name.
But they have an equitable interest to another guy. Now, let's say it's me and you, and I'm selling you a house. We're doing it on land contract because you can't get a loan, but you really want the house, and I really don't want to do it. All right, so we're going to do it over time. If we get halfway through this contract and all of a sudden you stop paying, I have to foreclose upon you to get back your interest, to get back the interest. Or you could quit claim it back to me. All right? But it's not like a lease. A lease is different. A lease, you screw up in the middle of the lease, I go to small claims and evict you and say, Dave hasn't made 2 months payment, and the judge says, go. There's no ownership equity in a lease. I am merely given you or transferred you some rights for a time frame, and then at the end of that time frame, they come back to me. At no point in a lease is there ever ownership discussed. That's why there is no such thing as a rent to own. Rent is a word that goes with lease. Lease means no transfer. It's a leasehold estate, a defined period of time.
Okay, well then let me ask you something. With all of the regulations that are in this business, how can somebody get away with advertising rent to own if it doesn't truly exist?
Is that like a consumer way of explaining it?
I think the answer to that is the same way that we get away with advertising DraftKings. Until someone pushes the button and forces the issue, like they have been, or like they tried to do with New York there for a while. You know, oh, wait, you can't do that. It became big enough that all of a sudden somebody started noticing, biting their ass and said, oh, yeah, hey, these people can't do that. Let's look into it. Hey, DraftKings didn't change anything from day one. But all of a sudden people started noticing them. I think it's the same thing. Rent to own, it's one of those things that as long as you believe me, everything's okay. But when you go to court because you're now trying to take back the property, or you found a buyer and you want to sell it and you can't, you're not allowed to sell it yet, I'm going to go to court. Now we're going to have a judge tell us. So, I don't know if it's illegal or legal to give the description the wrong way, but I think until someone presses the issue, it's not going to. That's what I guess I'm getting at. And like I said, there have been people before that were told it was a lease to own. And then when they went to court, the judge said, that's not a lease to own. That's a land contract. And now, Mr. Landlord, you thought you were a landlord, you can't get your property back in my court. This is a small claims court. You have to go to Superior Court and file foreclosure because you gave ownership away. And then there's some other financing techniques that we may get into in the next chapter. So we're going to cut this short real quick because I don't want to get into the financing yet.